Good morning, this is Jim Williams with the Hurricane City Tropical Update for Sunday, August 28th around 8 a.m. Here's a close-up visual satellite from NOAA showing Invest 99L. And the system is a little bit better organized this morning. There's more of a defined circulation. I'll show you the scat winds in just a minute. But you can see that the circulation here south of Andros and just on the north coast of Cuba, just to the west of New Vedas, Cuba, there is a circulation, and the clouds are more circling around the center than they have been the past couple of days where it's been sheared off to the south. This system will continue to move off to the west-northwest into the Gulf of Mexico. The ASCAT image shows the surface winds based on wave action, and you can see we have about 10 to 15 knot winds surrounding the center of circulation, and some of the stronger wind barbs are to the north coming towards Florida around 20 knots, and that'll be heading into Florida over the next 48 hours or so. And the Miami radar is showing some pretty heavy showers east of the Florida Keys, and some of these wind gusts out here are going to be probably 35, 40 mile an hour gusts. There's going to be some marine advisories, I'm sure, going up later today. But look at them all out here. These winds are going to be very gusty out of the east. There's some off Dade County moving in, even up here in Palm Beach County, right off the coast of Hurricane City. All these are moving in, and it's going to be a blustery 24 to 36 hours for South Florida. Here's a look at the Delray Beach Hurricane City Tower Cam aiming south towards Invest 99L. You can see the winds are picking up pretty good, around 20 miles an hour right now. And we have some light fluffy clouds. Some of these bands will come in and things will change very quickly, and then the sun will pop out right afterwards. If you would like to view this tower cam, go to hurricanecity.com/cam or use the drop-down menus on the front page of Hurricane City for weather instruments. And this cam is live streaming 24 hours a day. And there's also some good weather observations down there as well that are updated constantly as this system moves by. Speaking of weather instruments, here's an interesting graph over the past 10 days as this wave has been moving towards South Florida. And you'll notice here on the 21st, we had the lowest pressure as this system was out in the Bahamas. And then the winds were the lowest at that point. Usually it's the other way around. When the pressure drops, the winds increase. But then the high pressure started to build in over South Florida. They were 30.15 inches with the ridge building in. And the winds increased here. And that's out of the northeast as the ridge was building in. Now the pressures are the lowest and the winds are dropping a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this as the wave moves by to the south. Okay, here is the water vapor loop, color enhanced from NOAA. Look at all these upper level lows spinning all over the place. This is not a favorable environment, and I really doubt seriously that this is going to become a hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico like some models are indicating. We have an upper level low here in the western Gulf cruising toward the east. That's going to cause southerly wind shear. We have another upper level low off the southeast cruising to the west. That's going to cause southerly wind shear. And then we have another upper level low behind Invest 99L. At some point, all three of these are going to coincide, or two out of the three, and cause unfavorable conditions. But if there is one area that's favorable right now, it's right near the Florida Keys. But I think that window is going to shut rather quickly. And I just don't see this becoming much more than maybe a tropical storm here in the Gulf of Mexico. Of course, that again, that's my opinion. That doesn't mean we can't have a hurricane. But again, if we loop it, you can notice the Invest 91L up near Bermuda. That's getting shredded by that upper level low. And even in the northeast northeast of the shot here, in the very northeast corner, we have Gaston out here. And that is being sheared by the upper level low to its southwest. But Gaston will be pulling away and has a good shot of becoming a major hurricane as it pulls away from this upper level low. But again, conditions not all that favorable. The only favorable place is right near the Florida Keys, and that window may not last very long for development. Here is the wave forecast from NOAA based on the GFS going out 5 days. And you can see we have seas about 3 to 5 feet heading towards the northeastern Gulf of Mexico, near Tampa, areas north into the Big Bend. But keep in mind, the Big Bend, Florida area, even if this is a tropical storm, it's going to create a heck of a flooding event up there because it's a very low-lying area and it's very vulnerable to flooding. So no matter what happens with this, I think this is going to be something people need to pay very close attention to in areas Tampa and north, even into the Panhandle, for the coming days coming up here. Here are the 5 best performing models over the past 24 hours. This is not over 5 days. This is just for the past 24 hours. And if we follow these models, the NGX, the red best performer, would take it out in the middle of the Gulf and there would be nothing left of it. And of course, that would be because there's going to be strong southerly wind shear out there. If it follows the tracks of these other models, it would be more in line with the wind shear, which would give it a better chance, especially the Aqua model over here, the CTCX. It has it up near 70 miles an hour, and the reason for that is it would be the path of least resistance with these upper level lows all over the place, probably 70 miles an hour into Tampa. And the other models keep it as a weak tropical storm heading into the Big Bend. But again, these can change. These are only based on the past 24 hours of model data. Clicking on the 99L Invest link below the tracking map at Hurricane City allows you to pull up all the best performing models. And believe it or not, the CTCX is the best performer over the past 5 days, off by about 146.5 miles. And this model is a version of the Navy model. It's an experimental model, NRL COAMPS model, 5 kilometer. Not a lot known about this model, but it is performing the best. And it has this as a 70 mile an hour tropical storm. However, this has been off by about 12 knots over 5 days, so this could be a weaker tropical storm. And again, things can change. You know, yesterday, the last video update I did, the BAM shallow model was the best performing model. You know, I was watching the Weather Channel the other day, and Michael Lowry, the hurricane expert over there, was mentioning how the BAM models are terrible and don't pay any attention to them. Well, I have to disagree. The BAM model, the shallow model here, has performed brilliantly on Invest 99L, so it can't be ignored. And that continues to have it cruising well west of Key West and heading toward the central Gulf of Mexico. But again, the CTCX model is now turning it off to the northeast, and that has become the best performer. So each day there's a different performer at best performing model at 5 days. It changes on a daily basis, but these models cannot be ignored as they've been the best performers. Now here are all the models together, spaghetti if you will, and most are showing this system cruising well west of the Florida Keys and then lingering in the Gulf for a couple of days and then heading off to the northeast eventually. The question is, what is it going to be, a favorable environment, an unfavorable environment? I think it's pretty safe to say that anybody in Louisiana, Mississippi probably are not going to have to deal with anything out of this, or Texas. I'm beginning to believe that the most logical, if it does head in the direction of those places, Louisiana or Texas, is probably going to be a much weaker system. If it heads more towards Florida, it's going to be a stronger system to avoid the wind shear that's going to be taking place. But I think that the most logical point of landfall would be between Apalachicola and Tampa. But people in the panhandle of Florida need to keep a close eye on this as well. While I have this map up, the long-range GFS indicates that we could have another hurricane heading towards the Bahamas around the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th range of September. And that could be a threat to the southeastern United States. We're going to have another one to keep an eye on. I'll get more on that on the next video update in a couple of days. We'll see how this all plays out. People, just pay close attention to what's going on. Pay attention to the official sources from the National Hurricane Center, the outlooks. The hurricane hunters will be out there today. We'll have a better idea. Maybe this will become a tropical depression today. Who knows? But it does bear watching. It could still potentially become a hurricane in the Gulf. It's just my opinion that things are not going to be that favorable, and I don't see this really ramping up in intensity, but people need to keep an eye on it anyway. Anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for watching. I'll be back in a couple of days with another video update.